Ashland wakes up uneasy. Yes, crime and unemployment are falling, but citizens still feel meh. We have mailboxes that are empty, and a trip to the clinic means an all-day wait. So today we'll attack the problem 3 ways. First, we'll add a waste collection point to help process 20 extra tons of trash a week. Second, we'll add our first local post office. Finally, we'll build and zone a new residential area with just a sprinkle of commercial and office. Alright, we are back in Ashland, and man, I am struggling. I cannot solve this garbage problem. I know what we need. We need a recycling center or an incineration plant, but we're not there yet, and I can't wait until we are, because we're almost there. We're almost at that tipping point where you have enough citizens and you have enough revenue coming in where things just become a little bit more easier and you have a bit more freedom to put down what you want. Taking a look at our landfill, we can see we're losing a significant amount of efficiency, and the first one I'm going to touch is budget. So we're just going to increase our budget back up. We had to bring all of this down before. Now we're going to bring it all the way back up to 100%. And hopefully we can squeeze just a little bit more out of this. Secondly, it's not enough employees in mail handling. So mail handling we'll solve later on. Not enough employees. I mean, it makes sense. We're all the way out here in the boons, so not much we can do. The only thing we can do right now is fix our processing speed. We can give more space, but it doesn't matter if our processing speed doesn't increase. And yeah, so right now we're processing 94 tons and we're producing more than we're processing. So the way to fix that is to add one of the waste collection points, which we'll do. And the problem with this area is that it's on a significant grade, and you can see there's no room for it anywhere else. So really the only place we can put this is right about here. We're gonna have to do a bit of grading. It's gonna be maybe a bit jarring depending on who you are, but maybe it won't be. And then we'll do a bit of detailing and we'll move on to our post office. Okay, so I'm gonna run the road down right now. And I'm struggling to see what I'm doing here, so I'm just gonna remove the trees temporarily. I'll add them back in after. And now just a bit of grading. I'm gonna level a fair amount of this, and I know it might be jarring. Try to stay with me. The end outcome will be worth it. Now before I place a road, I think I'm gonna place the building first, just so I get a feel for how much space it needs. You know, we can put the road around the building rather than put the building around the road. It just makes more sense. I think that's a pretty good location for it. And then I'll just follow it along using the snap to the sides of buildings. Give a little stub right here. This road will probably go out in the future, although it'll probably be a dirt road. And honestly, the more I think about this, it makes way more sense for this to be an alley rather than be the industrial alley that we're using. It's off the highway, if you can call it that. So now I'll just wrap the alleyway around this building. I'm going to delete the fence and give access to that side as well. At the very least, I figured it would be used for something, you know, just a little bit more access to the building, maybe not. But now I want to get our fences in, and I'm going to put the fences down first, and then I will change the color, because if they are different colors, it will drive me crazy. And as I was making it, I noticed a bit of jank, which I really don't like. I want to get rid of. And I'm pretty sure I can fix this with just a bit of grading. So using the slope terrain tool, we can slope our way up. I'm still seeing just a bit, so I'll level right here. Extend it a bit, and then I know people don't like this. I'll smooth it out. I don't like the cliff texture in City Skylines 2. It drives me crazy. It's one of those things. I've seen some really beautiful cliff textures in City Skylines 1. I love them. I could see cliffs all day. Not so much in City Skylines 2. And the fence is stressing me out a bit still because it looks really rough. But I think we're going to roll with it. I think it's fine. I don't think this needs to be something that's perfect, so we'll deal with it. First up on the chopping block is the surface. I want to replace it with one of these concrete surfaces. Not that one. That one looks odd. Maybe that one, and most likely this one. I think I like this one. It feels a little bit darker, it feels a bit dirtier, it feels a bit more textured, which I really enjoy. Now I want to get rid of the grass. I don't like the grass here, it doesn't make sense, and so I'm thinking of using the soil. In the future, I might go back and replace this with the riverbed surface. I just don't have it downloaded. Every time I was trying to work with it, the next time I loaded a save, it would just disappear on me, and it caused me way too much work. and I like it. It looks good. Obviously right now it's still a bit too clean and bright. I'm gonna make sure it's darker with some stains and some of those dirty decals. But first things first, I really want to add some stains in front of these doors. So this is supposed to be a hazardous waste collection point rather than just another waste collection point. But to me, I don't know. It's both. It's both. But I like the idea of just adding some stains and making it feel like, I don't know, maybe some hazardous waste got on the ground. It really ruined it. And okay, already much better. Now I just want to make sure we're adding some like tire marks or something like that. I don't know. It's one that I haven't used throughout this build yet. So if we can use the tire marks, then I want to get them in. I'm not really sure how I feel about them. I like them a lot. My use of them, I think, is not very good. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna add some of these cracks. I really like these as well. I'm going to make the road look a bit rough and dusty, especially on these roads where there's the yellow lines. After this, I'm gonna add in the concrete surface to the alleyway because I don't want to see the alleyway anymore. I don't like the surface. The more I look at the soil, the more I want to change it. It's too bright. I don't know. It doesn't really fit the feeling that I'm looking for. And that's too light because I can still see the grass. I don't even know what these are. That one's just bland. And the soil is the winner again. Actually, I'll try some of these rock surfaces. No, I don't like it. Oh, I like this one. This one is fitting the feeling that I'm looking for. It's kind of brown and gray. It's kind of gross. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'm going to finish up some of the detailing here. I want some of these wet stains on the roof. And I want the rest of the ground to be dirty. And I want the surface on the side, which used to be grass, I want it to feel gross and filled with dirt and stains as well. So I want to get some garbage trucks in here. I'll make them green and black. I'll go with the more North American looking ones. I'm also thinking about adding some bins, some like spilled over bins, but I think I might be doing too much, especially just for this little upgrade to this building. I don't know why I get like this. It just becomes fun, but I'll add in some trucks. Okay, all that's left to do here is just add some trees. All I've done to the building is just add some more decals, make it more dirty. I fixed up some of the roads as well, put some more decals on the roads. And overall, I'm really happy with the way it's looking. I feel like it matches our area really well. Now we're on the road a bit, but let's see how our facility is doing. So you can see our processing speed has increased, not by the number we want it to be. We want it to be at 120. In order to do that, we need to increase our efficiency. In order to increase our efficiency, we need to add a post office. So we'll move on to adding the post office right now. And I keep looking around the map trying to find the best spot for this. And really, I think the post office should just go behind the fire station. We have the room for it. Our fire station doesn't have any upgrades that, need more space. So it makes a lot of sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is we have a bunch of services in this area, so traffic might be bad. That's probably why, that's why I'll orientate it towards Primrose Street, and then I'll delete these trees. I'm gonna run a path beside it. There's not too much detailing we can do here, so this is pretty simple. I love and hate that services do this. In this case, I hate it. I'm just gonna upgrade it it's the easiest way to stop it from doing this. So we just essentially replace it with another surface. It's no longer attached to the building, but it still exists. And I need to move my grass in order to do this. The grass always gets in my way. There we go. And that is looking good. Now I want to give the fire station some form of privacy, and I'm not really a big fan of these bushes, but they're tall, they're big, they block the views from the path. I wanted the path to go through, so I need to do something to stop the people looking in through the path. You know, they should have some form of privacy. You know, we want them to have access to the post office, of course, but they should still have some form of privacy. Okay, time to add mailboxes. I'm going to add mailboxes to almost every area as much as I can. I want to try and put them on parks. I want to try and put them on public spaces. If it has to go in front of a house, then whatever, it has to do it, but I'm going to try not to. And done. Now, is there any chance that this is already going to get the efficiency boost? No, but it's at 96. That's not bad. I don't really want to have to deal with the trash again until we have to put in our recycling center. Let that be the case. I want trash to be fixed. I want police to be back to normal, so our happiness goes up, so we actually have a good amount of demand, so our city starts growing. How did I not notice that? There was a operating district on the landfill. I believe I put it for the industrial park, trying to stop the garbage from filling up there. This should have a big impact, probably the biggest impact of everything we've done so far. Okay, before we add our new residential area, I'm going to zone in a bit of office and commercial. I'm hoping to get our revenue up so we stop bleeding money. That way we can actually afford our new residential area. Okay, all the buildings have filled in. I've done a bit of landscaping, nothing crazy really. This is an office park type place. I want it to feel kind of premium. I want it to have manicured grass, you know, feel welcoming and kind of like a place you actually want to be in. I added a bunch of places to sit and eat your lunch and do whatever you want, have team building exercises, and I added a bunch of trees, of course, because why wouldn't I? Added some of the bushes around the paths because I think it looks nice. And I'm just finishing up. And again, if you have a better name other than Ashore, please tell me. I think it was probably one of the worst puns I've ever done in my life, and I regret everything. Now, the only thing we have demand left for is low residential, and I also want to add in some row homes here. I don't think it makes sense to have this only be a low residential area, especially with the nice water view. You have a nice retaining wall. You can look down, you can see everything, and so because of that, I want to have row homes closer towards the retaining wall. We're gonna need to do a bit of grading to get things started. I just want to flatten just some of these weird little areas. They'll make my life so much easier, but I don't want to do anything too dramatic or anything too crazy. Okay, with that, we're pretty much done. Now I want to use the suburban 2-lane road. It doesn't have any markings. It's the same ones you're seeing right there. And I really want to try and follow the contours as much as possible. But I also want to do it in a sensible way where we're still having lots of room for development. And on this side of the road, I want to maintain 6 units away from it as much as possible, especially because we have the retaining wall. And because we have the retaining wall, we won't go as close with our lot sizes. So we'll have small depth sizes, something like, I don't know, 3 or 4 max. And then I just want to continue this road straight a little bit further. I want to have your connector road and I want it to go around pretty much the entire thing. We'll meet back up there. Right now I'm going to add a road kind of right here, align it with the retaining wall. And then we'll have a nice sweeping connection into our previous road. Perfect. I love it. And now to connect up to here, we're going to use the complex curve tool. So we'll align to road guidelines. And we'll just try and get in here if we can. Pretty much perfect. Okay, so now we'll delete this little stub road because I'm gonna go 6 units back. Then starting here, we're just gonna have a straight connection all the way through. We'll We'll try and connect it into a 90 depending on how it looks. Okay, there's a pretty big hill here. So what I want to do is I want to follow the contours. I'll place like a basic road just to give me some layout and instructions. On the other side, I'll come in, make a straight connection. Then based off of that connection, I'll use the complex curve tool to make a beautiful sweeping road that's not straight. It doesn't look too gritty. Perfect, that's exactly what I want. Now I want to make a connection from down here into that road. So I'll go straight and then I'll use the curved road tool just to curve into it. And it's looking good. It feels organic, it feels natural. Now I'll just run a road from that road, connect it right into this road. But of course, some of our block lengths are insane. So we need to start chopping these blocks up just a bit. And the way I'm thinking about doing this is by, no, that doesn't work. I'm thinking about going from right here and just coming straight in. Right at a 90 without it fighting with me. There we go. Okay, so now we have the foundation. I'm going to add in a few more roads, make them curvy, make them follow the train. Really try and get something a bit unique. The only thing that scares me with that road is we will have some issues with zoning if we zone too big of lots, or probably even 2x2s. I'm guessing if we zone 2x2s, we'll still have problems. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have problems, so I'm just gonna fix it now. It'll make life easier. Don't have to worry about it in the future. Okay, now I'm just going to remove all the trees just because I don't want to see them. I'll personally add them in after. With that, there's not too much I'm going to change about this from here on out. I'm going to add a bunch of paths now. I'm going to make sure the connectivity is really good, because if it's not, then these block lengths are going to be a killer. Before I continue here, I'm just going to add any 2x2 building this will do. And I'm just going to see what this looks like with our buildings in, because I'm worried it's going to look really weird, especially with the hill. There's some times where it's like you have two buildings touching each other and they're both on the hill and that just looks awful. But this looks perfectly fine to me. I don't think there's anything to worry about. But still, we'll keep them in for now until we're done doing all our paths. Okay, we are finally ready to zone. I have removed all the zoning from the streets I don't want it. The row houses will be towards the end. The lower residential will be towards the top. We'll have a sprinkle of commercial, a sprinkle of office, especially towards our row homes. When there's a significant grade between the two lots or the two zones, I will leave some space in between. If there isn't any grading, then we'll just butt them up back to back. It makes more sense. You get more money for your space, but you can see right here, we're gonna leave a little bit of space, and that's because it will come out janky. And why waste your time getting something janky when you can just do it right the first time? If there's ever a significant curve, I'm just gonna plop them down. I don't want to have to deal with the garbage zoning that it's gonna give us. Plopping it down is gonna save us a bunch of time. I think these might be problematic lots, so I'm going to add a retaining wall along the pedestrian path. That should solve any potential problems. If it doesn't, we can just add a key wall, but we'll see. This little lot up here would be perfect for a park. It's kind of what I was thinking when I made it. So I'm going to add something that we haven't added yet. Well, we've already added this one. I love that one, but can't add it. A lot of them stick out or stand out too much. This feels beachside. This is too small. And these are way too expensive. What do we have? Let's see. Okay. No, I think we'll actually add just a hilly playground. That one should work, but these surfaces stick out just a bit too much for me. So I want to clean them up a bit as well. It's only going to have +1 outdoor recreation, so not the greatest asset, but better than just having nothing here. So I cleaned it up a bit, changed some of the surfaces, gave a concrete surface instead of that weird dirty surface. And now I'm just going to add in some trees. Okay, and that's looking good. Now I just need to finish up the rest of the zoning, add in some row homes down there, and yeah, keep going. And before I continue, I'm going to take a break to add just a bit of commercial. I'm noticing we have the demand, and if we have the demand, let's use it. Commercial doesn't come around too often, so I'll probably just go with some southwestern low density business. Nothing crazy. And then I want to add just some paths behind it. Not much reason other than I just think it looks nice. Okay, now I do see one big issue with that path, and that's that we're taking up a lot of potential commercial, office, or residential space that would bring in tax revenue for the city. But the problem is that I'm trying to play by the rules and have paths be under a 5% grade. That way they're accessible to people with disabilities or people who may not be able to walk down that grade as easily. Old people, for example. And of course, that comes down to a flaw in CS2 is that the scale of the game isn't representative of real life. For example, a 7% grade could just be a 5% grade in real life. It's hard to put real numbers on it. Me personally, I'm going to try my best to play by the game's grading system, and I'm going to, keep things under 5% for things like paths. If it's a highway, obviously I want to keep it under 3%, I believe. But yeah, so just a quick thought process of what's going on in my head and why I'm using valuable space for paths. Right here, I'm going to swap to our row homes. I'm going to fill it all the way out, and I'm looking at that path. I'm thinking there might be some conflicts in the future, so we'll fix those if we need to. And this is going to be some really nice homes. You'll have a beautiful view of the water. I'm thinking for the spot on the right, we can add some medium density apartment buildings. But for the most part, I'm going to let this play out for a bit, see if we can maybe get back in the green and just let some time pass to have things fill in. Actually, while I'm waiting, let's expand our district here. And again, if you have a name, please feel free to share it. We could use a new name. Broad Gardens is the lamest name possible for this. And this is where this district will end, so it won't expand beyond this area. And we got some big pluses like spacious homes, but we also have high crime risk that's really hurting us. You can see we have no demand for anything whatsoever. So I'm just gonna speed this along a little bit more. Okay, we filled in pretty nicely. There's a problem with this path though. I can see that it's almost conflicting with the houses right here. I'm gonna try and grade this out, see if it works. And no, it really doesn't want to work. So I'm just going to do my favorite thing and ignore it. If you ignore it, it does not exist. Some of these houses filled in a bit weird, so I just gave them a little shove to move it, and then I plopped one more just to fill in the block a bit. I don't know about you, but small stuff like this really bugs me. So I'm going to delete it, I'll grade it out, and then we'll add the path back in. Oh my god, how did I not realize? I don't even have money. Okay, so we'll add the path back in later when we have money. I'm seeing the garbage is still piling up at our police station and at our industrial area. So I'm wondering if the mail did anything to our landfill. Did it boost the efficiency we were looking for? Okay, so it's much better, but we're still losing just a bit. Yeah, we're losing 10% to mail handling still. I'm hoping that's going to resolve in the future. Maybe our post office just hasn't made its way down here yet because they're prioritizing the residential areas and the office areas in the city. Yeah, there's not even any stored mail. I'm wondering if I add another mailbox, will that, and we don't have money, so I can't place one even if I wanted to. I was thinking maybe if we add another one, this area will have 2 times the prioritization. We'll apply a short-term fix and hope to get maybe just 100 more tons of garbage storage space. Okay, and we've gotten a little bit more, nothing of significance. I'm just hoping this allows more trucks to go out, and it doesn't. So that probably means the amount of trucks that are out right now are already carrying enough trash to fill it. I'm hoping the processing center will fix a lot of these problems, but we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, let's finish out our residential area. I'm going to plop some of our row homes. And all of these assets repeating kind of drives you a bit crazy. So I'm going to throw in some variation. Just every like 3 or 4 houses, we'll just add some different ones. And then moving forward, I'll just continue that variation. So I'll just count to 3 or I'll count to 4. And I'll just try and vary it up as much as I can. I probably won't use these row homes in this area whatsoever after I'm done with this area. I don't know, I'm not really loving it yet. That spot where it's just like, yeah, this is it. I haven't had that yet. Now here on the parking lot road, I want to add something different if I can. So I'm thinking either these northeastern apartments, but they almost look too big, especially once they get to level 5, or the southwestern 2 depth buildings. Yeah, so I've decided on these buildings right here. They're a bit vibrant, but they add a bit of contrast to the city, so I think it looks nice for the most part. They'll need a bit of detailing to make them really fit in, but now I want to add in the medium density apartment buildings we're going for. I'd really like these ones, so I think we'll probably go with 3 of them just on the corner here. And I love the way that looks. It really feels like an apartment building that I would want to live in personally. Now we need to add parking of some sort. I really don't want to add it here though. It would be such a waste of space. Before I forget, I'm going to lock these. I don't want them to level up. I do not want them to become a higher building. I am perfectly happy with this size. Please stay this size forever. I've added some dual parking lots right across from them. Not in love with it, but I think there is some things we can do here. We can have a park in that little triangle corner. Add some walkability, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see once we get to detailing if I can make it work. I'm really unhappy with this entire area, so I'm just going to bulldoze everything. For some reason, the parking on this parking lot road is disappearing, which means the cars need access. I only put this road in because I didn't know if this asset came with lots of parking or not. It must in some form, so I'm going to bulldoze everything here. Honestly, that always hurts me a bit because they were living there, they had lives, and I just destroyed it. And since we're doing this, we might as well continue this trend. I want to put in a parking lot road here. If we don't, the traffic and the AI can tend to be a bit wonky if you don't have it. Anyways, the only reason I'm removing those homes is because it doesn't make sense for single family residential homes to have parking like that behind it. So my thoughts are we'll swap this out with row homes. It'll make a lot more sense for why the demand for parking is there in the first place. And it'll just give access to the Sims all around the area to have somewhere to park. I want to rethink this area right here, and I'm thinking running a parking lot road through here and have just enough room for zoning on both sides of the roads. Then with our zoning cleaned up, I think we can have some commercial here. It doesn't need to be anything crazy or anything big, but some office, some commercial along this little area, I think is going to be really beneficial to the people who live here, because right now there really isn't any access to jobs. You're either walking down the hill and going into the shore city, or you're going to the industrial area that's on the opposite side of the city, or you're going to the industrial area that's down the highway. So to me, this area makes a lot of sense. Bring in some new jobs, fulfill some demand as well. And really, we only have demand for office. I want there to be more demand for commercial, just because it makes an area feel more alive. And to me, it's also logical. We don't have any, so we'll have to wait. I was trying to find something that felt like a store, something that didn't feel too officey. There was parking on it, so you could just drive in, go to the store, get some food, get some groceries, and I felt like this asset fit the best. It pretty much lined up perfectly with the zoning that we had available, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I've got good news. We're finally in the green. We're making $3,348 per hour, and I think we've hit that tipping point where we don't have to worry about money as long as we're not absolutely silly with it. So we can add schools, we can add actual services that a city needs. Right now, I'm going to spend all of that hard-earned money on trees. I'll do a little bit of detailing, fix up some of the paths that we messed up earlier. Now, I've always loved these European row homes. They were one of the most used assets, probably by me, for a long time. I'm going to lock them at the same level they are right now, level 1, because I don't want them to change. I'm going to plop them down in this little area right here. We'll connect all of the surfaces to a path that will run through the middle. I'm sick of seeing these light and dark gray pavement surfaces. I'm gonna swap some of these up, see if we can find something, make it really cohesive. Presumably these should all be the same surface, just because they're all in the same development. They're probably all done at the same time. And so because of that, I also want something a little bit more fancy. Like, this probably would be expensive housing. It's in a really high value area. There's lots of row homes near it. There's lots of amenities near it. Well, for the most part, at least. I've just got done building out a small little pocket park for it. I'm just gonna finish up some of these bushes here, fix the surfaces just a little bit more. Okay, done. Now I'm looking at this parking lot. It looks so bland. It needs something, and I think we know exactly what it needs. It needs some trees. I've placed 3 pocket parks. What I'm gonna do now is connect all the surfaces up, and then I wanna replace them with something a little bit more fancy, a little bit more nice. I want this little park right here to feel somewhere people actually wanna go. Okay, so I've added just some trees in the middle, I added some bushes in the middle, and I'm trying to figure out what to do right here. It's missing something. Like it's so close to being what I want it to be, but I just can't for the life of me figure out what to put down. So I'll probably just finish this off and then move on to something else. Where I lived previously, there was this giant office park. I guess giant's the wrong word. It was medium density buildings, like 2-3 stories, and it was just the same building 3 times over. And somehow it still looked really, really good. So I think that's what I'm gonna do right here with this land. We need the jobs anyways, and I wanna have a lot of areas in here for employment. Because if we're thinking about the entire map, the employment's just so scattered. So I'll place 3 of these back to back. And in the rear, I wanna have access to parking. This would presumably be a lot of jobs. Because of that, we wanna have a good amount of parking. Then we'll add some paths to connect the parking to the frontage road. I love this asset and I've always wanted to figure out how to get it into one of my builds. It feels very cottagey, it feels very upscale. I don't know why that is, but it does to me. And I think the way I'm gonna do this is by having them in sets of 2. I really, really don't like them when there's just a big block, they're all side to side. But I think if you break them up into lots of 2, it actually looks pretty good. Am I crazy, or does that not look really good? It makes me want to do like a cottagey build out in the country almost. So definitely not in like the heart of the city, but almost in a cottage, have some rural roads. I feel like that would even look better. Okay, now it's everybody's favorite time. It's tree time. Okay, there's one more thing I want to do before I end this episode, and I'm looking at these apartment buildings. I want to add some sort of pedestrian path behind them, and then give that pedestrian path a key wall. I think it could come out really nice, and it could be like a looking point, so you can look down, which is kind of why we're clearing up the trees right now. Okay, now adding the key wall, but it's clear we're gonna have a bit of a problem. We can see that the slopes and the grading, it's all different for each of these buildings and each of the paths. So we're going to move it and align it all to the road once we add in our key walls. So we'll select all of the nodes and the building. Oops. We'll select all of the nodes and all of the buildings. This time we won't move it. Okay, we'll still move it this time. That was just warm up. So we'll select all the nodes, all of the buildings, and then we'll just align it to one of these nodes. Align to object height. And we have done things to the road that we need to fix. Okay, so let's try this one more time, this time with the road not selected. It's amateur hour here clearly. And perfect, I love it. I tried really hard to grade it, that way it would actually show some of the key wall, but I couldn't get it to work for some reason. So right now I'm just gonna add like a little lookout point, sort of, I guess. I think eventually this could turn into a pedestrian bridge, but right now the city's broke and the city doesn't wanna pay for that, and the developer doesn't wanna pay for that. So there's gonna be some fighting. That stub will be there as a future reminder that this was a project, but it wasn't fully developed, and that's why we have this little lookout point. Okay, so today we've built out an expansion to our landfill. We added our post office in, and we built out a whole entire new residential area, and I think that's where we're gonna call it. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.